and welcome. I am Chris Menard. Glad you're joining us for this live stream on Microsoft Copilot 365. I'll dive in just a second about exactly what we're going to cover, but this is the paid version of Microsoft Copilot. So I've been doing live streams probably for 3 years at least now, and I've never had a guest on. So I have the first time my good friend Melissa is going to join me, who probably loves Copilot as much as I do, if not more. So Melissa, will you do an introduction real quick?
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to be your very first guest. I am Melissa Ballesteros. I am manager of AI for legal technology and adoption for an international law firm. And I'm also the co founder of Rockstar Women in AI and Security, which is my very held dear to my heart. So I do all things AI, but you are absolutely right. I may love Copilot a little more than you.
And that is okay. Uh, Melissa and I, we ran at each other. We're both trainers. I do work for a firm also, and we happen to be in a couple meetings together. And next thing I know, we're hitting it off about Copilot. So we've been sharing Copilot tips for a while now. All right, I will start us off today. I'm going to start us off in Excel with a couple new features. Then I'll turn it over to Melissa, and then Melissa will do a few features. We're going to be taking questions in the chat box, so feel free to put them down below there. Any questions that we cannot answer live, I will put on my website, and my good friend Christian, who you don't see on the camera, is in the background producing this and running the show in the background. Christian will put the link in the chat box in a few minutes. But let me go ahead and start sharing my screen, and here we go. Over here. All right, I am in Microsoft Excel desktop. So I'm almost always using the desktop all the time. Make sure I'm sharing one more time. Here we go. I'm in the Excel desktop right now. Before I use this exercise, there's a brand new feature that literally just rolled out in Microsoft Excel, and I just got this about a week ago, maybe 10 days ago. This only works in the web version of Excel right now. Don't be afraid of the web version of Excel. Whatever you're doing in the web, you can do in the desktop almost always, but sometimes Microsoft will throw out a new feature, especially in Copilot. They'll do the web first, then they'll roll it out to the desktop version. So here's the example. I've got a list of customers, vendors, whatever you want to call this. And the issue is this first name column. I can't sort by the last name. So I'm going to add a column. You're saying nothing new there. I'm going to be very specific about this header row. What I want is the last name. So I'm going to type in last name, press enter. I would use, if I was really doing this, I would come in here and do equal symbol, and I would use an Excel function called the text after function. And I would say, after you find a space, return, it would return Menard, then it would return Roberts. But let's say you have no clue what to do. So watch what happens when I press equal. Generating a formula with Copilot. It even has a keyboard shortcut listed there, which is the control key and the semicolon. And it, it did exactly the same function that I know how to do, but maybe you don't know how to do this function. And it says, hey, I want to use the text after function to get the last name. And it's even telling me right here where I'm moving my mouse, here's the function. We're going to take B2 and we're going to find a space and we're going to return whatever's after it. And it's showing me it's Menard. That is correct. So I'm going to click this and I'm done. I don't know about you, but I find that to be amazing right there. So there is your text. There's your Copilot generating formulas. My first example was text. Now, by the way, I could come in here and add a column and add first name also, but just to save time, I'm not. I've got these invoice dates over here. Let me just scroll over here and center this. I think I would like to see the month broken out. So let's add another column. Be very specific with what you name this. So just don't type in something random. Be very specific, like I'm calling this month, like I called the other column last name, because the Copilot generate formulas is using the text in the header row to help you generate the formulas. So here I go again. Two different ways I would have normally done this. There is a month function in Excel, and the month function will pull out the number 8 for cell G2 and the number 9 for cell G3. There's also the text function where I could reference the cell G2 and do a 3 letters for M. It'll do August, AUG. 4 M's would do August spelled out. But let's just see what Copilot gives us initially. I did equal. I'm hoping it's reading that header row right there. And look at that. It decided to come back with the text function with 4 letters, which is probably the one I would prefer anyway. So here you go. I'm going to click it. There are your months pulled out immediately. So again, just another great function. Now that you have this, if you're like, okay, I see what it's doing, can I go to 3 letters? I'm just going to do 3 M's. I'll double click so you can see that in the this formula that's used right there. And there you go. And also, if you notice, I'm not having to autofill this down. So just so you know this, if I go back to 4, I'll do it one more time. When I press enter, this column H is called a calculated column. That is the correct terminology for this, because I have set this data up in a table instead of a range. That is why I'm getting the calculated column. Example number 3, and then I will stop sharing. Over in column K, I've got invoice amount, I got cost. I do want to know the profit. Here we go again. And by the way, because it's a table, if you notice, it kept the row shading also going. A range would not have done that. I'm just going to do equal. Let's see if it can figure out an actual formula that takes one column and hopefully subtracts the next column. It's been 2 for 2 right now, by the way, if you're keeping score, or if you're just joining us, welcome. It says, hey, I'm going to take cell I2 and subtract J2, and I get the number of 210. That is correct. There is enter, and there are all my answers. No need to put it in the chat box. I don't know why it didn't keep up with the default font color that it was using, but I'm not too worried about that. I could use the format painter or just manually fix it. By the way, here's one more that's advanced, and then I'll turn it over, because now I'm really curious about this. I actually didn't think about this. I want to know what is the profit percentage. So let's see if it can figure this one out. This should be, by the way, cell K2 divided by cell I2 equal. Prove my hands aren't doing anything on the keyboard. Oh, look at that. This is wonderful. It did the K2 divided by I2, but it did it wrapped in the if error function, because if I had a 0 or a blank, that should give me the error message. And there I go right there. Select them, make them percentages. I'm happy. I have stopped sharing, and I'm going to be joined by Melissa again on camera.
Hello.
Well, welcome back.
Fantastic. That was great.
Well, thank you.
Time savings, right?
Thank you. Yeah, that was a huge time saver. And if someone doesn't know how to do some of these advanced functions or formulas, it's amazing. All right, we have a question, Melissa. Then I'll turn it over to you. The question is from Elizabeth. Assuming this works best when you put the columns directly to the right. Oh, that is a great question, Elizabeth. Before I answer that, I actually need to test it. So I will have an answer for you before this live stream is over. because I see your point. What if I need a column to the left? So I will I'm gonna turn it over to Melissa. Melissa, all yours.
Thank you. Well, if we are continuing with just in general Copilot, every day it can read our minds even more. So it's fascinating how much we've evolved and how much it evolves every day. So today I want to talk to you about evolving with Copilot, first of all. And in order to do that, we need to speak its language. So today I want to start by sharing my screen, and I am going to do that. Let me just make sure you see me. Okay. Can you see? Is that a yes? Okay. So I am going to talk to you about the agent store. I want to start with the prompt coach. So everybody, can you confirm that you're seeing me and hearing me? Okay. So the prompt coach, if you go on Copilot, m365.cloud.microsoft, this is exactly where you will find your friend chat, your friend agents, your friend notebooks, creates, and so forth. I'm going to start by taking you over to where it says all agents or explore agents. And if you scroll down, you're going to find all of the Microsoft agents. One of them is called the prompt coach. So if you go ahead and click on the prompt coach, in my case, it says open. In your case, it should say add. And when I click on open, then right here, I have the prompt coach. Now, if you see that blinking cursor right away, that means it's expecting an answer from you. But in all reality, you want to give it it's a message so that it starts in some kind of way. I like to use analyze prompt so that it doesn't confuse why we're here. So I ask it to analyze my prompt and provide feedback on how I can improve it. And I hit send. And then it's going to give me an answer. Okay, great. I'll be happy to do that. Just give me your original prompt. I'll give you an improved version and I'll break down the changes. So you would just put in your prompt, and I'm going to give it a really bad prompt. So I would say, please create a list of fields I need for a profit spreadsheet. So continuing with Chris's theme. So it's going to analyze this. So, well, thanks. Here's a detailed analysis of your prompt. Here's your original prompt, and here's an improved. So it says, please create a list of fields I should include in a profit tracking spreadsheet for my department. This spreadsheet should help monitor revenue, expenses, and net profit over time. Please organize the fields by category, income, expenses, calculations, and include brief descriptions for each. That sounds pretty good, right? It also tells me the reasons why it made those changes. So it tells me that it added context, clarified my goal, structured my output, and specified my expectations. And if you read through that, this is just using the goal, context, source, and expectations framework. So if you have those 4 elements in your prompt, you're probably going to have a really good result. But I wanted to share with you just how useful your prompt coach can be. So be sure to add it on. And it will be listed here on the left-hand side. Your prompt will be listed as a conversation so that you can access it quickly. So that's one of the things I wanted to show you. The other thing I want to show you quickly is something called notebooks. If you have not been to notebooks before, I want to invite you to take a look. Notebooks are scrolling down on the left-hand side. You'll get here. And yes, they are linked to OneNote, right? But they're not notebooks for OneNote. They can do so much more. And here's what it can do. I'm going to share with you something I already created. I went on a presentation for New York Experts Live, and I created a notebook. So to create a notebook, you simply click on New Notebook. You would give it a name. You would add your information, your references, and then you end up with a notebook like this one. So here's my name, New York Experts Live, and I can show you the information that I added to the notebook. These are references that I had. There are some decks. Maybe you go to a conference, you get some decks as a result of that. You have some handouts, and I even have a page. Now, if you haven't used Pages, I invite you to do that too. I'm going to click on it to show you. A page is simply where you can create content that is found in other places. You can put it in here, and this is all regarding that event. So again, this is just inside of my notebook. And if you notice, when I click on something, it opens it up, but it also allows me to open the chat. So I can chat within my notebook. I can ask, when did the event take place? And it will go and try to answer the question for me, as Copilot always does. But it is better here. It's giving me some more information that is not necessarily correct. But again, you have to verify. So it's actually just pulling the information from my presentation and not the event as a New York Experts Live. So I guess I should have asked better. But back to our notebook. I can click here and go back to the notebook, and I will show you what is really cool about it. Not only can I put information in here, yeah, that's great. I can add more references. I can chat, as you saw just now, so I can go and ask questions about things, but also I can get instructions in here, and this acts like a mini agent. So in this case, I asked it to use this as a dynamic, intelligent workspace where I can include information about the event, and all of this is great. But I also asked it to do a weekly tip generation, for example, and even a LinkedIn post creation, and I gave it information about how to go about doing that. So it knows what I want. So what I am accomplishing with this particular notebook is that I am able to ask it for, say, a tip. I've already given it instructions on how to do that. So it's going to pull information from it and give me a tip that I can use. And I can copy and paste this. I can email it. I can create a document with it. I can copy here, right? I can add it to Pages if I have a page that we're creating with it. The sky is the limit at that point. But it is using the information that I asked without me having to say much. It's reusing it. Now, if I go back to my notebook, I also have the ability, I don't know why it's not going back, so let me just click on it real quick. You can get an audio overview of your files, and sometimes that blanks out for some reason, but all you have to do is go back in and you can select the file, and that kind of clears it all up. I'm just going to go back to it. I guess it's not doing it. You will be able to do an audio overview, but I will give you the last tip, which is the audio overview shows up not just on notebooks. If you go to OneDrive and you select any of your files in OneDrive, you can ask for Copilot to do exactly that with your files. So I'm going to show you, I have my files, and any file that I have here, I can go ahead and not any file, by the way. It has to be a Word or it has to be a PDF file in their Copilot. You can create an audio overview. So similar to what this is creating here, this audio overview will be created, and you can, by the way, make it so that it shows up like a podcast. So it takes a minute. I'm not going to waste our time on that, but that's my tip. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to pass it over to Chris.
Hey, Melissa, that was great. Is that fairly new? The notebooks, the notebook feature, the Copilot notebooks?
It is, and actually it is playing on my screen.
Okay, that's fine.
There we go. It is fairly new. So two things, the notebooks they showed up a little while ago, but a lot of people don't notice them because they're all the way to the bottom.
Okay.
And also one place where you will see them is you'll see them when you open up OneNote. You'll see them listed as in you can add your notebooks. But it's a great feature. It works like a mini agent. You can add instructions. It's really, really, really helpful.
So you could here. So here's where I'm heading. So I'm actually asking some questions now, by the way. So you could Unlike OneNote, which I love, by the way, and I use OneNote all the time, that notebook, I could have multiple meeting documents in it. I could have spreadsheets in it. I could have PowerPoints in it. And then I use Copilot to ask questions about it all at one time. Am I right?
You are right.
You've got me sold.
The only thing I'm going to add is it's a maximum of 20 files.
That's still all right, though.
Yeah.
Knowing Microsoft, it starts at 20 and give it a few months and it'll be 50, then 100 and on and on. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Melissa will be back in just a few minutes. I know you're probably tired of Excel, or maybe not. By the way, I forgot to tell you this. The question that was asked about when I was doing the using generate the formulas, I did right click to the right and inserted a column. You could put the columns to the left. It doesn't matter where you put them. It really is just checking out that header row in your data. And that's why you need to be very descriptive with the header row. All right, let me share again. I'm going to do a quick PowerPoint, and then I'm going to come back to my favorite application, which is Excel. So let me share Excel first. Let me pull up PowerPoint. This is new because we're covering new stuff. So not new is that I could go and create a PowerPoint from scratch using Copilot. In case you're wondering, I could click on the Copilot icon here, create a new presentation. I'll go ahead and click on this one. This is not new. But what is new, I'm going to make this up, create a presentation about, let's do this. See if I got it on my clipboard. I think I did. Maybe not. I'm in Atlanta and we have, I think, the busiest airport in the world. So create a presentation about Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. If you make typos, don't worry about typos. But if you notice right below the word airport, just down there to the right is the word length. This is new. How long do you want this presentation to be? Short, medium, and long. And I'm not kidding. I saw this just today because this isn't even what I was going to show you. And I'm like, okay, that just popped up on my screen. But what is fairly new, and I say fairly new, last couple months, is if you're like me, I'm here as Chris Menard with Chris Menard Training, but I work full time somewhere else. I need to use my company's template. Right here is change design, and recent will be here. Microsoft 365 templates will be here, but here is your organization. If you're saying, Chris, you don't have anything in your organization, that is true. If you're making a note about this, your your Copilot admin, who's probably your Teams admin, who's probably your SharePoint admin, that person needs to upload your organization templates here, and that is where they show. So you can't upload them yourself, but that is where they show. My tip for you, though, is also this. If you were to go File, Open, and open up your template, and then come in here and create your presentation, it would use your template, but they just wanted to give us another way to get to there. And I'm going to zoom in real quick so you can see this. Also new is add a slide. You could always make a new presentation. You could always make a new presentation from a Word document, but that add a slide is new also. So real quick, let's just go ahead and do this. Let's go back to, I'm in Atlanta. I'm going to pick on the Atlanta Braves just to keep this quick. I will do medium, and I will send this off right over here to the right. It's going to come back and it's going to show me the slides. It's showing me the slide titles, and then it goes and creates an outline, and it will use sections for these. So if I don't want this section right here, I could add a new topic. I could also come in here and delete it. I'm just going to let this run. It did 16 slides. When I hit generate, watch this. I'm going to give it another 20 seconds. It never fails. Here it goes. That's actually not that bad for. It is almost done. There you go. This is a section up here. Here's a section here. So it creates these nice sections. It also, in case you've never seen this before, in the bottom right corner, it put me in slide sorter view, which is a view that I love, but we're normally working in normal view. So if I pop over to normal view, I still have these sections running. Sections are a great feature in PowerPoint. So I'm just letting you know, there you go, right here. Back to Excel. So another new feature that you have is I generated formulas with Copilot just a second ago. But you can also type in equal. There's also an equal Copilot function. In Microsoft Excel, we're used to the sum, average, max, min. There's over 500 functions in Excel. Well, this is the Copilot function. Only going to work if you have an M365 license. And what do I want Copilot to do? Show me the top. I do have this in double quotes, by the way. 15 employers in the U.S. And Copilot will return with the top 15 employers in the U.S. You can, if you want to, there is a function in Excel called the sort function. You can wrap this in the sort function and get it right here. You can also use the Copilot function to reference this. So maybe over here now, maybe I had A2 to A16 listed anyway, like somebody sent me this. So I'm going to tell the Copilot to show me the city and state for this list. Now, I forgot to do the quotes. It would come back and tell me that. So this time I'm using a second argument. I did a comma. And what do I want to reference? And before you say, Chris, highlight A2 to A16, that would work perfectly. It absolutely would. But the trick here is I want to reference cell A2, and I'm going to do a hashtag after it. That'll take A2 down automatically instead of doing A2 to A16. So when I press enter now, come on, Copilot, you can do it. There we are. All right. And what is nice, if I continue to add stuff in here, so I said, show me the top 15. I'm going to make it the top 25. It changed here. And because I did that hashtag at the end, it changed over here. So that is the Copilot function. Those are two examples. Watch this one. So the first two, honestly, those two examples were for creating data or maybe just pulling something out of existing data. But watch this example here. I have nothing but text over here in cell B3 to cell C17. There's no formulas, that is just text. I want to pull out the first name, I want the last name, and I want the city. And I want to point out that there is no consistency at all in these names. And there's a little bit of consistency in the address, but it wouldn't matter if there wasn't. So I know that you do not want to watch me type. So I'm telling it equal Copilot, extract the following categories. What are my categories? First name, last name, and city, which is cell E2 to cell G2. And this time I added a third argument. The third argument is from this list. And then the question is, well, where's the list? So I added the fourth argument and I selected with my mouse B3 to cell C17. Let's see if Copilot can get this one correct. That fast, look at that. It has them correct. I was in here as Mr. Chris A. Menard. Then we had Vandalay, comma, space, art. On and on. It got the names correct, and I'm just checking some of these cities. My good friend Melissa said it. Always, always, always go check your data. Just assume that Copilot gave you the wrong answer. And once in a while it will. I'm just telling you, once in a while it will. But look, once I've gone through and checked a few of these, I'm like, okay, I can count on this now. All right, I will stop sharing, and I'm going to join Melissa again on screen.
Hello. Welcome back. That was great.
Thank you. Melissa, you want to show us something else, or
I
do we just
sure
want to
do.
chat? I think,
No,
why don't
I
you show us
sure
something
do.
else? All right.
I always want to show you something else. My good friend, Copilot has many friends, and I love all of them. And I definitely have something to show. So,
But who do you love more than Copilot? Which friend?
I'm going to show you my friend Create.
All
So if
right.
you scroll even
Sounds
all
good.
the way further down past notebooks, you're going to find Create. And if you haven't been here, be forewarned, you can spend a lot of time here. So yes, you can create images. Yes, you can create videos, infographics, stories, posters, and more. But here's the best part. All of this, all of these pictures you can reuse. I'll show you how in just a minute. But before you do anything, notice that it's giving me the option for a branding color. So before you go any further, you should start at brand templates. And if you do that, you're able to create your own brand template. And so you can choose shared with you, created by you. You can simply create a new one. And that means that you are going to be able to, for some reason, I don't have any more here. But guess what? If I wanted to create a new one, I can simply create a brand new brand kit. So what is a brand kit? Well, it's going to create an image with with already the details of your font, colors, and everything else. So when I go in to create an image, I can start from scratch and I can describe it. That's fantastic. Or you could start from the images that Copilot already has created. So if you like something that you see, you can simply edit the prompt because it gives you the prompt. So when you click on it, you can start with that prompt and it says, okay, well, the prompt is visualize a dashboard interface for website traffic analytics, include mock-up data for charts, graphs, and a live feed panel titled real-time metrics. Well, first of all, I don't want it to be called real-time metrics. I want it to be called Copilot metrics. And I also wanted to include no live feed panel, but a picture panel. And also I wanted to include 2 more graphs beside graphs labeled 1 and 2. Okay. All right. So I can then choose a style, which if you like images, again, you can be here a long time. You can choose photorealistic, pixel art, doodles, oil paintings, you name it. I'm going to go with watercolors for this one. You can create, again, using your branding color. So let's say I have this New York Experts Live. It's going to use that information. And then I can choose if it's wide, if it's squared, if it's a portrait. And then I can click on create. And you will see how I'm transforming the image that I selected. Oh my God, today we're just, let's try this again. Don't think Copilot isn't always good. Sometimes, like every computer, like every program, it decides to not cooperate. Let me go back one more time. Let me go back to create. And let's see. There we go. Let's try one more time with something simple. Oh, let's do this one. So I'm just going to say Copilot instead. And let's try this again. Something must be going on. It's having issues. Chris, can you try it on your end, please? And see? Because for some reason, I'm not able to.
I will be happy to try it. I'll let you walk me through it. So if you just
Of
hang around.
course, I'm happy to do it. So
And
if you go
I will verify real quickly. So I taught an Excel class in Copilot one time, and Excel just wouldn't work for me, working for everyone else. So sometimes.
You know,
that
sometimes
happens.
it's either connection or whatever it may be. But again, it's nothing a good reset won't
All
won't
right.
help it. So if you go to create on the
You
bottom
got
left,
it. Yep.
there you go. That's it. And so you can choose any of the images that are going to appear, anyone that you like, and I want you to modify it slightly. I don't know if you have a brand kit. If you don't, it's perfect because we'll help you create
All
one
right.
too.
So let's say I want to go with this one right here.
Let's do it.
Visualize the space.
Go ahead and
Start.
click on it. Yes, please. Start with this. And then I want you to modify it. So it says here, place the booth, the image. I can't read all of it, but help me with making some changes here. Here we go. Thank you. So I would say let's change it to where it says additional generic booths in. Can you scroll to the right? And the background. Okay. And let's add some color maybe if you want.
Okay.
Right? Because it's saying, so let's give it some color. You
You
can
would-
say, make it blue, make it green. Exactly. And it's going to modify the image based on what you ask. Now, I don't know. I don't think you have a brand kit, do you?
I do not.
Okay, so we'll do that in just a second. So we'll work with that in a minute. Go ahead and click on create. And that's going to generate a different image based on the prompt that was originally created, including whatever changes you ask. But not only that, it's actually going to give you the ability to continue to edit, which is the fun part. That's why this could be a really, really long time.
Uh-oh.
You could spend hours here. So, I guess it's taken a minute. And images do take a moment, by the way. They're not as quick as the others, but for some reason, this may be taking longer. Do we think we might be having issues altogether with
I think we're both having issues with this particular feature.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Oh, so maybe that's what it is. See, thank you, Elizabeth. We're having some,
okay.
so that may,
I-
okay, but so let's go to the brain kit. Let's see if we can create that. How about that? We're
All right.
not giving up, people. We're not.
Um,
Let's go over to create again. So if you click on that tab right there, exactly that button.
oh,
Let's go back to create, and then click on more, and then you're going to select brand kits. Perfect. And create a brand kit. So this is where you would give it a name, and then you can add colors. So if you know your RGB or hex colors, you can add your fonts. We'll see it in a second. So also logos, you can add the logos, upload your logos. So here you go. So if you wanted to upload your logos, same thing with colors. So if you click on colors, you can type a color, you can select the color, and those become the colors of your brand kit. And then the fonts as well. So you can ask it to use specific fonts for your brand. And lastly, all the way down scrolling, you can add even images, the brand voice, and even your firm template. So like your brand template. So if you have a PowerPoint template that you use, then that's also something that you can add on here. So it's a really great opportunity for you to go a long way without having to reselect or to find things that match your colors, because it will literally change those images into the colors that your brand kit contains.
excellent. Last one for today.
Yes.
Rolling out, two things are rolling out. One, I already have this in my File Explorer. I'm in File Explorer. If I right click, let me find a Word document. If I right click on a Word document and go to OneDrive, you will have inside of File Explorer Copilot icons in File Explorer. They're summarize, FAQ, and ask a question. The same three options I would see in OneDrive, by the way. And speaking of OneDrive, view online. This is an online feature. I'm going to go to my file. Let's go to home. Let me find a Word document. I love this feature. Here's an employee handbook. So you could have a Word document or a PowerPoint of a transcription, or maybe it's a Teams meeting you transcribed. It could be an annual report. You click on it. You click on the Copilot icon. And here's a great feature. You can create an audio overview. When you do an audio overview, you have two options. One is a summary overview where there'll be only one person talking. The second option, the one I like, is there's a podcast style where there are two people discussing that file. How cool is that? Right there, create an audio overview. I'll click on it just so you can see it. And I'm not going to sit here and let it run because it may take a couple minutes. It works pretty fast. But there you go for that feature. I am going to stop sharing. And we're back. Hope you enjoyed this. Melissa, tell them one more time before we start wrapping up the different places they can find you, and remind them also of that the group that you're in.
Absolutely. And before I do that, I did want to mention one thing. I don't know if you've noticed, but it is coming through to the tenants where now Copilot provides you access to delegate inboxes. So you can ask it to check my email in my shared mailbox and help me answer questions, or say, what was the last communication sent by so-and-so? So if you're managing shared mailboxes, if you have access to delegate mailboxes, you're now able to use Copilot, your own license, on that mailbox. So check it out. And you can find more information by finding me on LinkedIn. I am Melissa Ballesteros, and I did a post on that this week where you can find the information for the license, the delegate inboxes. I am also the co-founder of Rockstar Women in AI and Security. I founded that with Femke Cornelissen. We are very proud. It's about 200 women. We want it to be more, where we all learn about AI and we grow together. So thank you so much.
Melissa, thank you. Thank you for being here. And the last item is, will you and Femke come and join me, and we can just discuss AI and Copilot one day?
Why not?
Why not? All right. Thank you all. Everyone have a wonderful day.
Thank you.